funny thing is about that, no joke, I actually said in my head, I think I'd been down here, was doing like in between gigs, and I was like, do you know what I could really do with? I could really do with a cheap pizza slice.
Yeah.
And I walked around the corner and I saw that and I was just like, this is going to be so shit.
It's a message from God.
The guy could not have given a fuck I was there.
Aye, same. That must be the same guy. Because it was. I got 2 slices. I'll be honest with you, and the juice. And it was £7.50, and I gave him £8, and I says, "Just keep that." He gave it back to me. I was like, "Oh, you're not understanding. I'm trying to give you a 50p tip."
He had no clue what was going on.
5, 10p pieces back. I was like,
oh my god,
let's shove a tip thing.
100%. £2 pizza slice, drug front. I'm willing to say it. I'll go on record saying it here.
Yeah.
Money laundering. I love a good money laundering place.
Yeah, I know. I was one bite into that pizza, and I was like, they don't care about pizza. this is not about culinary expert. Like, yeah, it was bad.
I know. Especially when you've got Severino's around the corner. They
Yeah.
do like unbelievable slices, and then you've got that shitty. Although to be fair, in the Fringe, if that guy's still there, that'll be my lunch every single day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But there's no way he's making it to August. That's going to go down the shitter.
Well, I mean, they have drug money, so they.
Very good point, actually.
Yeah. If anything, they're going to make it longer than any other business here.
The house is still open. Nobody buys it.
There's so many businesses in Edinburgh like that.
My favorite, it was in Vancouver. There's an old arcade there.
Yeah.
And you walk in, no lights on. Half the arcade machines look like they haven't been touched in a decade. In the back, it has the old, like, our coins are called loonies, which is like $1.
What?
Yeah. $1 has loons on it, so that's a loonie. And then $2 has...
Why has it got loons on it?
Because that's a bird in Canada.
All right.
That is so Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's the nickname for it.
All right,
Loonies and toonies. Toonies are $2.
Loonies. What's a toonie?
Yeah. Well, it has 2 bears on it. So
toonie.
yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Canada's such a fucking mad place.
It doesn't make any sense, but the
Now
best
let's see
part...
why you're
It should
here.
be Baileys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I fucking hate that place. But this it was definitely a drug front. In the back, it had those old porn machines where you put a loonie in, and then you just look into like the little rectangular slot, and you just watch black and white videos of people fucking for a minute, and then you leave.
What?
Yeah.
I've never
Did you
heard of that.
transport back to 1930? How the fuck are you watching porn like
What,
that?
what I'm saying is this drug front had been open for a very, very long time.
So
I've
you're
never
looking,
even heard of
that's
that.
you're
all
looking
it
through like binoculars.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, like it's just like a little tiny
How often
slot.
were you there?
I went in once. My roommate's like,
He's
you
got an
have to
implant
go
on
in.
his eyes. Stop going because it's like physically disfigured.
I was spending all my money. I was keeping the drug trade in Vancouver afloat, and I never had drugs.
Yeah, you had no drugs.
Not one.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I love that. I love when you spot it as well. If you just go in a place and they go, sorry, we don't take card. You're like, oh yeah, I see what's happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? I respect them. I'm always like, I'll be right back when I come back with cash.
Brilliant. Sorry, we just had a wee detour there, Ross.
Oh, we're not recording.
Oh, but we are now.
All right.
that didn't count.
No.
I wouldn't have been funny.
That's how we're opening the show, just ripping on Canada.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think we do every week.
I'm looking it up now. Carry on.
What, the porn machine?
Oh no, I know what. Well, it's called a computer.
Get the
Ralph.
porn. We'll have a tell you what, we might not keep it in the edit, but let's have a look at what you mean by the porn. In fact, can you Google that on a work laptop?
I'll just go into an incognito mode.
Someone's done that before. Right, let's kick off. Ross,
Yes.
hello.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in today.
Finally.
Yeah, Ross, I've been trying to book Ross for this.
You've not been trying.
I've been trying to book Ross since day one.
Just
and
don't have your number.
even though I'm in 3 group chats with you, I don't have your number. No, thanks for coming in, Ross.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on the Brown Joes podcast.
The Brown Joes. Do you like the name? Most people don't like it, Ross.
Don't like what? The
Just the name.
Yeah, because it's Brown's got connotations
Of shit.
of big jobby.
Just big jobby. Which
Big jobby with diamonds in
every
it.
single one of my friends show names, which I'm not going to do anymore. I've decided I'm not going to do any more puns of the word brown.
Yeah.
I think I've done with that.
Yeah, because for a while I was doing all song titles, and then
You were, weren't you?
yeah, then it's couldn't be ours.
You just went
This is going to be
massive,
this will be
cute
exhausting.
at the tip.
Yeah, which people thought was about my dick.
Why?
Well, the dick has a tip. People generally thought it was good to talk about a massive queue of people queuing up to see the end of my penis.
I was going to talk about this later on, but we might as well just get right into that.
What, my dick? Straight into
tuck on into your dick.
Tuck on it. Nobody's ever said that about a dick before.
No, apart from
Tuck
me.
on in.
Right, so you had your French show last year was massive queue at your tip.
Yeah.
And why was that, Ross? Do you want to explain why that was?
It's nothing to do with dick. It was because I upset the cyclists on Twitter.
Didn't you?
Yeah, January 2022. I made a very, very funny joke that alleged that I murdered a cyclist. And people,
Which was a good joke.
yeah, people. I've done better, but people didn't like it. They thought a lot of people took it literally, and I had a week or 10 days of abuse online. It was probably the time of my life. It was
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
I would love that as well.
Yeah,
I got my first hateful comment on YouTube last week, and I loved it.
did you?
Yeah, I was just like,
Sorry about that.
yeah, and I was just like, oh, I really can't wait for this to happen more.
What
Which
did
is a
it-
weird thing to say, but
What did it say?
I didn't get even a chance to reply, and he wrote, I think the biggest joke on your channel is you being a comedian.
Oh, fuck off.
And I was just like, yeah. But I went to reply and he deleted them. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. Stop being a coward.
Exactly. That's such a. People think in the comment stuff like that, because I've got a lot of that with the cyclist thing as well. It'd be, oh, this so-called comedian did this. I've got Pound Shop Limmy. Stuff like, even Limmy's not really a stand-up comedian. He's very funny. Very, very funny, obviously. but he's
Hilarious,
not.
yeah. Pound Shop Limmy, that's
Something
fucking
like that.
nowhere near accurate. Fair enough if you look like him, but you don't even look like him.
No relationship or nothing like each other at all. It was fun. It was fun. There was one guy who found a picture of my son, which was a bit.
That got a bit weird.
It's like,
We just
okay.
wanted to fucking go and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he was the only one that I blocked. I genuinely enjoyed it because it was good. Because it was. I think we'd just gone into like another sort of mini lockdown or something, so I didn't have anything to do. So I was quite happy just to sit and like message, reply back and stuff like that. I was coordinating with other comedians. Like you get like Martin Elson and I were messaging each other. Oh, that guy that's responded to you 2 weeks ago, he tweeted this, use that against him, and it was all like
Oh my God,
was
coordinated attacks.
yeah, because we're both bored, and it was fun, and it got a 7 or 8, I can't remember, 7 or 8 minute routine out of it. This show. I've been trying to create a bit of controversy since then to get some material for this year.
I think you actually have to hit a cyclist
Yeah.
to get that controversy. I swear, Ross, I know this has been said before, but if you ever hit a cyclist,
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Not really.
clip in that bit.
It's I did think that because I was like coming like yeah, don't hit a cyclist because it would just look dodgy as fuck.
Yeah, it wouldn't look good for you. But I mean, what I think happened to you, because everyone just piled in, didn't they? Because
Yeah.
it's weird how they just all like, did they just start like tagging like cyclist groups and shit like that?
Yeah, I was some wee prick. Cycling Mikey was the one that found me.
No way.
He was like, I mentioned at my show, he's the one, he's a Dutch guy, lives in London, he's got like a GoPro in his helmet, takes footage of drivers playing with their phones at traffic lights, sends that footage to the police.
That guy.
It was him that found it originally, and it's him that shared it with his community. He's reasonably famous in that community because I remember before.
What a shite community to be famous for, eh?
Before that happened, I remember reading an article on The Guardian because I'm quite liberal. It's about him because he's got a big YouTube channel. It's got like 500,000 subscribers. Or whatever, because
I've just been a grass.
Basically, a wee Dutch grass. Which when Dutch grass is normally a good thing.
Yeah, that's normally a good thing. You know, everyone loves a smoke of that.
Yeah.
What the arsehole.
smoke that.
But what an embarrassing thing
Probably
to do is
a
imagine
pervy.
just cycling round, creeping in through people's inner windows.
Yeah, I know. Like a lot of people. Oh, do you know how many cyclists are killed? And I was like, aye, but like,
Yeah, we're just having a fucking laugh.
Exactly,
man.
yeah.
Chill out.
My favourite response, which I never got to use in joke, was somebody said, "What kind of cyclist was it, Ross? Was it a man after a long day's work trying to get back to his family? Was it a kid on their new bike after Christmas?" And I went, "No, it was a paedophile." You're welcome. I tried that on stage and nobody liked it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm doing a good thing because you
Yeah.
can be two things. You can be a cyclist and a paedophile.
You can be.
I'm not saying there's a crossover, but the lycra.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the type of cyclist I hate. I mean, if you're just fucking going about your business, but see the guys, they'll be cycling round and then they'll just have like their hands in their pockets Or they'll just be cycling and they'll just be like that.
Yeah.
And I just be
look at
like,
me.
and they're just like doing like, they're just going out of the pocket, they're looking on the phone as they're cycling, and I just think, you have the smallest dick in the world. If you are doing that, you just, because it's like, you used to do that when you were like 5, you'd be like, look at me, I'm fucking riding a bike with no hands. And these grown men actually do that, and I just want to go, fucking, where's Ross when you need him?
Because that still comes up. People like somebody gets hit by a cyclist and somebody will tag me like, "This you again." Could you ever do no hand cycling? I don't think I could do that.
I couldn't do it. I can, honest to God, I can like barely ride a bike. I can do it, but like I never did it much when I was growing up, so I'm shit at it.
Right. I think I could do one hand, but not two.
Yeah.
No, not 0. I could do 2.
Because when I remember it when I was like, it's a famous like story of my family just about how much of a little dick I am, is that I got a bike for like 3rd or 4th birthday, went out for like the afternoon, my dad tried to help me ride the bike. I couldn't do it, so I just quit and just refused to get back on the bike for years, maybe about 10 years, until I actually got back on a bike. So everyone else was like, anytime people were like, hey, do you want to come out and ride bikes? Like when you're going out with your mates, I would always try and find a reason to be like, hey, no, I think we should just play football.
I'll just get the bus on me up. Tell the driver to slow down a bit.
Such an embarrassing thing not being able to ride a bike when you were younger as well, because it's such a,
I used to love riding a bike.
yeah, it's just, and that because of that, I just never really got in it, which is, I don't think I've missed out on anything in my life by not being able to cycle a bike.
I remember one time when I was a kid, I lived in mostly sort of Portobello-ish area.
Lovely place, lovely part of town.
Then I moved to sort of Liberton area. And one time I was cycling from one to the other to see friends. I got kind of lost. And I now know I ended up near the city bypass. But because I seen it on the sign, a sign for city bypass said Stirling this way, I thought I'd driven to Stirling. And then me and my pal Brian, I won't say his second name, Brian and I went to, there's like a strawberry field there, and we thought we lived in Stirling now. Like, we'll have to try and find some food and stuff like that.
So you robbed the strawberry fields?
Aye.
Nice.
This will keep us going until somebody comes to rescue us. We just assumed because it said Stirling on a sign that we now were in Stirling. It's like, I didn't see that long. It's like, it was only
fucking pretty nearby,
only
yeah.
10 minutes. I'm sure when I drove up there, it was like half an hour.
Does Brian have like a really important job? You don't want to double name him for all the strawberry theft?
No, because he's a criminal.
You fucking started them off?
Yeah, I tried that enough. He'd done stuff before.
I didn't really do much crime when I was younger. Such a shit little fucking.
I could tell you a crime story
Yeah.
that we can publish.
Oh, love it.
So, I used to be a Rangers fan.
Whoa.
So I got arrested for that. No. So when I was 15, I went to the Scottish Cup final with my uncle and my mum's pal. They were Hearts fans. So I went in the Hearts end because I was only 15 at the time. And it's a final where Rangers won 5-1.
Yeah.
Remember that one? And they were Hearts fans, and one of them, can't remember which order, one of them disappeared to go to the toilet or get a pie or whatever. They were quite drunk. They were adults. They were allowed to be drunk. I wasn't drunk at all. And one of them must have said something to the police, and they got arrested. And there was like a big scuffle at the top of the aisle. And yeah, it was my mum's pal, and my uncle went up to see what was going on, to say like, what the hell's going on here? And then they took offence to whatever he said, and he got arrested. And so I went up because I realised I'm a child at this point, and the two people who got me through in the train are now currently being arrested. So I went up to also inquire, and then I got arrested.
Inquire. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, what's good?
I'd like to make an inquiry.
My voice hadn't broke at that point, probably. I was like, stop hitting him. I was a wee geek. Leave him alone. And then I got arrested. As all day I've ever been in handcuffs. It was so sore.
Yeah.
So I've like marched back to the bus, and they take a statement from you, and I didn't know anything about it. I was never been in trouble before, not really from that life. And the guy sitting writing notes about what I said, and I was just looking over. He's like, I never said that. He's like, don't look at that. I was like,
Just you confessing all these crimes, yeah?
I said the
9/11.
in 6 years this guy's going to 9/11. But he just kept saying he told me to fuck off. I was like, I never said that.
You fucking will, mate. You fucking will.
And then I got put in a jail cell for about 2 hours or something on my own. Because it worked out I was a minor, and then I was just in this jail cell. It was weird. Then they let me off and realised like I hadn't actually done anything.
Yeah. Apart from telling the guy to fuck off and.
I never. I'm going
Right,
right,
Ross. I never did anything.
So that's my only crime story. So
I think I've only ever been in the back of a police van once, and it was for such a shit reason.
Oh, God.
Me and my friends pulled like an all-nighter, and just like, but basically we walked the streets like all night when we were like 15, 16 or something like that. And we were all just like, oh my God, apparently you get arrested, you have to make it till like 6 o'clock. Before and the police can't arrest you and everything like that. We look like children just walking the streets. Because I told my mum and dad, I was like, I'm just going to stay at my friend's house, and then we all just said that, and then we all just fucking just messed about with the streets, like playing football.
that
and shit
old
like
one where I'm sitting in his house, he's sitting in his house.
done that,
Yeah.
and then so you're aiming to kind of get past. I think 6 o'clock was the thing. We were trying to be like, right, if we can get past 6 o'clock.
What happens like 6 like?
And it was just kind of like we'd made up this, or someone had heard like they can't do anything after 6 o'clock, which is definitely not a rule.
There's a shift change. Like, we're clocked off at 6. I know you've just murdered 8 people, but I'm a fuck staying on the paperwork.
And then so it got to about 5:30, and we're like, we've almost made it. We turned onto Ferry Road. We were at the bottom of Ferry Road in Edinburgh.
It's a fair distance from Portobello.
Oh yeah, well they all kind of lived in that area, so we were just like pissing about there. And turned the corner, police van sitting there. Where the fuck are you been? And everything like that. I was like, I was so close. Got back at the police van, and they were like, oh, he's staying at our house, so they took me to my mate's house. And then the guy went, just so you know, I'm going to be writing a letter to your mum and dad's. Like,
Dear sir, madam, write a letter.
we found your child at the bottom of Ferry Road at like 5 a.m. or something like that. So in my head, I was just like, shit, I need to get my story in. Like, I need to like tell them the truth before they get a letter from the police out of the blue. So then I went back, and the next thing I wanted, I was like, Mum, Dad, I've got something to tell you. Like, I was in the back of a police van, and there was nothing happened. And to this day, they don't believe me that I was doing nothing. The guy never wrote a letter.
No.
They fucking stitched me up.
Yeah, you've been made to look a right prick. And just the 6 o'clock thing's pretty interesting. Like, getting halfway through getting arrested.
Yeah, I think it's maybe because if we're under 18 or something like that, that was just like, you're not allowed. But surely if you went out at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, well, if you're working an early shift.
Yeah, but I think we little bastards. We went like, there was like loads of like local
What were you
businesses.
doing? Just like,
Well, we were just like fucking playing football and things like that. But then we also, you know, when the deliveries come in the morning for places like that, so there was a place and there was loads of warm pastries got delivered and loads of milk. So this is how gangster this was. We just sat in a park and downed loads of milk and just ate all the pastries.
this has escalated because you said we're just walking about and now you've committed theft.
We gave it back.
Like,
You're right,
stole
actually.
somebody's dog, fuck's sake.
We did plot 9/11, yeah.
That's where I'm really from.
Yeah, so that was that. And which sounds quite a bougie crime now, looking back on it. We just sat in a park and had milk and pastries.
Panel chocolate.
It was probably like warm, like Danish pastries, and we were just like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever." And there was like talking about urban legends of how someone else had done this before, and a wedding cake had been delivered to a shop and left it shut.
You didn't take a wedding cake?
No, we didn't take a wedding cake, but someone else knew of a friend who'd done an all-nighter and found a wedding cake, and they stole the wedding cake and ate the wedding cake. I don't think I would have stolen a wedding cake, but some pastries just lying there. So I think that's probably it in terms of my crimes.
I think we got into that was talking about cyclists.
Yeah, you murdered cyclists.
Right.
Corbin, you ever committed any crimes?
No.
I didn't think you would. You seem like...
Yeah, I was boring.
You did watch porn at 13 years old, you were telling us before the show.
Oh yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
Is
gonna
that
be
it?
it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you now that we're back on the porn thing, I found the arcade. So it's called the Movieland Arcade, and so it's recently closed actually, and apparently it was like a Vancouver institution. So this is what it looked like. I'll pull the picture up for you guys. So that's what it looks like.
Right, okay, that's old school,
God.
that.
Yeah.
That-
So
What's
girly
that? What?
theater, movies for men.
Girly, fucking
Yeah.
right.
So
This
this
they
is.
went with a different font for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole place didn't make sense, but the ceiling looked like this. It had a disgusting like yellow tinge, but also these lights that were in there were all off. Like
Everything's
when
fucking out of order here as
yeah,
well. What a shit arcade.
nothing worked. But then also you can see in the back, slightly behind these ones, there's these big machines.
Is that
here.
in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are 9mm peep show machines, which look like this.
Oh, right, okay. I think
So-
I've seen that in
Yeah,
Walk
so you
Empire.
could go in, drop a loony in, And then
Drop a loony. Sounds like you're going for a shit.
yeah, I know. I mean, it. When I went in there, I was like, "This place is disgusting." And my roommate's like, "There's homeless people coming in, take shits." And I was like, "Well, then why did you bring me in here?" And he's like, "Well, it's a Vancouver institution." I mean, that's probably the closest to crime I ever came was going in this place because you just walk in and it's just an empty arcade. Most of the shit doesn't work. All the lights are off, and there's just this tatted up guy in the front on his phone, and he just has like a jar of loonies and toonies and then another jar of just bills. So he was there just to swap cash for cash pretty much. So it was
nice.
1,000%.
So it'd be a wee guy
drug
like
front.
playing Pac-Man, and then there'd be somebody here jacking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And then also
That's what I do.
I didn't click on what you said. They're just jacking it, and I was like, all right, wait.
well, the funniest
Why
thing
there? I'm not keeping that memory in their head until they get home. They've only got 1 minute as well, by the looks of things.
yeah, hey, you got to remember it.
Yeah.
So the funniest thing is I went back there, my roommate tosses the loony in, I watch, I go, haha, this is awful. I hate this. And then as we're leaving, a guy comes out of one of the other ones and just like stops and he goes, hey boys, these are hilarious, aren't they? And then he just runs away real quick. So someone was actually whacking it in there and we interrupted
Some
him.
guy, this is not the toilet.
Did you ever see, you wouldn't have seen this because British TV show, do you remember Trigger Happy TV?
Yeah, we watched that recently. It's on Netflix.
Do you remember the one where they did 1 millionth sex shop customer?
Yeah, it was very good.
And it was just, so Coben, it would just be like a plain sex shop, and a guy would go in, but they would, as soon as they went in, like a band would form outside with a banner being like 1 millionth sex shop customer. So when the guy came back out, they'd go,
It's got a microphone and all that. How do you feel?
That's
funny.
fucking hilarious.
and then we'd like chase the guy down the street. He'd be like, how does it feel to be the best customer?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love Trigger Happy TV. That guy I was just like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Did
I've
you
been
hear
watching it with Oren, my 14-year-old. He loves it. It's on Netflix.
Oh, so good. Do you hear
Did you
that? Do you know that Muchie got him on his podcast?
I've got a vague memory of that, yeah.
Muchie just messaged him out of the blue, Dom Jolly, and just went, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? And he just went, yeah. And so then just went on his podcast.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it, but that's when you say that, I was like, yeah, it rings a bell somehow.
And it just feels like, ever since then, that's been the one in my head. I've been like, anytime I'm trying to like message famous people to try and get on the podcast, which none of them have replied to, I always just think, why don't more
I'm
people?
here.
Do you were there? The guy, the CNN guy, was there. Spandex.
He follows me on Instagram now.
Yeah, because he was there that night. That's the guy.
It was a nice family, wasn't it? I think I was hosting that night.
Yeah, you were. So that's I tried to get him on. I don't know
seemed an
if I
interesting guy.
mentioned this before, Coben.
No.
Right.
No,
Yeah, because there was a guy, and I've been mentioning it on the kind of intros on some episodes, being like, I'm trying to get a guy. So he was over doing the World Cup,
That's right, yeah.
and I was just like, oh, this would be so cool to get a guy, like a sports journalist who's been at the World Cup in Qatar and everything like that. Messaged him, he sent a really nice message back, being like, yeah, cool, I'd love to do it, but I'll need to check with the PR team first. Can you send me a link to your podcast? So then I had to send my link of my podcast to the CNN PR team, which we haven't heard back on.
Send this one.
This is the one I could send, but then there has been, I know I've definitely slagged off journalists before on my podcast, so if they have listened to other ones, they've gone, this guy is not friendly towards us.
No.
We're going to do like mental gig stories. Have you got a few mental gig stories? Because even before we even get to that, I never even got to speak to you about this. You were going to give an audience member a lift home last weekend.
Oh, aye. That was really fun.
How the fucking hell did that come about?
Oh, yeah. So one of my gigs that I run up at Blue Lamp in Aberdeen, you know this, but I'm just saying it for the benefit
no,
of
go for
people listening. It finishes at like most comedy gigs, 11:15, 11:00. And some guy, when the middle act was on, tried to leave, and I was standing at the back just getting ready to go back on as the compere that I am. And some guy went, oh, it's not a reflection on you, you have to leave because my last train home is at 10:30 to Stonehaven. I was like, oh, that's a shame, sorry, thanks for coming, blah blah blah. And he says, oh, it's a shame because I really wanted to see Gus. I was like, oh, right, okay. And then he says, I know Gus pretty well. I was like, oh, cool. And he says, do you know if Gus Limber drove up here because I could get a lift home off him? And I went, well, actually, Gus and I drove up together and I gave him a lift. So if Gus was happy to give you a lift, I'm happy to give you a lift. If any friend of Gus is a friend of mine. And then Gus was on the other side of the room looking over like, why are you speaking to that man? So I just WhatsApped him and says, who's this guy that I'm speaking to? And he's, well, it's some mental guy from my village. And I was like, all right, well, we're giving him a lift home. And he went and sat back down, getting ready for his lift home. And then Gus and I messaged and spoke about it. And like Gus, I can't remember his name. He told me his name. He kind of half knows him. He knows his brother more than him. And I was like, all right, well, I thought I was doing your friend a favour by offering him a lift home. He's like, oh, fuck's sake, it's going to be so awkward. It's like, yeah, but if I say to the guy now, we have to give him a lift home. So I finished the show and immediately went to the toilet, getting ready to drive home. And I walked past him and he still had his, like, almost a full drink. Still didn't have his coat on, didn't even acknowledge me walking past. And we got to the back of the room and Gus and I just went, we could just bolt. And we did. My car was parked literally outside. And
Getaway car.
But yeah, honestly, it was a proper getaway. We ran out and I didn't even put my seatbelt on and drove away. That was another crime we just confessed to, but genuinely did. Just drove away. I put my seatbelt on round the corner. But I've never got in a car so quick and driven away. If any sort of conversation I remember, especially after the gig's quite awkward because they're always like,
yeah.
So how did you get into comedy? I don't know how you do it. And it's just going to be, it was going to be half an hour with him. And I think,
that is a terrible idea. So then you just bolted.
Yeah, it was really funny. I didn't feel bad at all.
Oh no, you wouldn't. So what if he comes to the gig again? You'd be like,
He's been before. I'll probably see him again.
You're actually going to have to see this guy again.
Because we've got quite a few regulars at that gig. They come back all the time. I've definitely seen them there before. So I'll say that's on record now. That they've run away. I'll just say,
yeah, that's about.
Let's keep in. I don't care.
Fuck you, mate.
If he keeps coming to my gig and give me £12, I don't care.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. What are the Aberdeen gigs like? I'm doing it in a few weeks. Are they quite nice?
Yes, they are. You're doing it because you're covering. Because I'm
MCing.
I'm here.
You get monkey bar that night.
Yeah, so you're looking after my gig for me.
You want me to set up and everything?
You're gonna have to. How are you unstacking chairs?
Well, do you remember that golf course gig I did in Glasgow last year?
Oh yeah.
And you were like,
that guy that organised that gig, he was at my other Van Winkle gig last night.
no way.
Yeah. He came up and went, you ran a gig for me at Cathkin Golf Club. I was like, yeah, it's you ran. That's what
Cathkin Golf Club. Yeah, Ross basically said, "Oh, can you do all the equipment in the other room?" I had never set up equipment in my life. I don't think I told you this. I was just, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You said you're an expert.
I honestly,
do this all the time.
I walked into that room and saw everything like in pieces, and I was just like, "Oh, this is not going to go well." So the main room we're doing it in is at a big fancy golf club lounge, really well lit. The tables are all packed. The room is like so busy.
Oh, are you setting up whilst everybody's there? He's sweating.
I had to carry, and I'm definitely not the strongest guy. I had to carry all the speakers through one by one.
Oh, I can't do two at once. I've got arthritis. So.
I had to set all this up while all these huge, big, muscly Glaswegian guys are just sitting watching me.
You want me to get that for you, pal?
They just fucking sat and watched
That'd be
me.
so funny if they were helping you.
They just sat. I was sweating. Honestly, God, I was sweating. I set up all the equipment, and then finally, literally, as I was doing the last one, someone just went, "Do you want a hand, pal?" And I was like, "You prick."
That's what I do with my wife all the time when she's finishing dishes. Oh, I was going to do them.
I'll jump in and help. And so then they'd all watch me struggling to set up the room. I then am on maybe second or third. Have a fucking rough gig as well.
I thought you'd.
It was not good.
All right.
It was definitely not the best gigs. So then they were just like, "Oh, there's that fucking wee dweeb that was setting up the speakers at the beginning." Have you ever seen talking of Aberdeen, have you ever seen your Breakneck comedy bio?
No. Oh, I need to see it. Yeah, we get up.
Because I'll tell you what, also have a little search for mine. So I'll tell you what, we'll do mine first because Breakneck Comedy is a comedy club in Aberdeen, if you can call it that. The guy's a fucking nut job.
Yeah, he's my rival up there now.
Yeah, so I did about 4 or 5 gigs with this guy. Each one of them, he forgot he'd booked me because he was stoned when he booked me.
Happened to
So
me,
I used to drive up to Aberdeen on like a Thursday night, 3-hour drive up there, and I'd get to the front door and they'd be like, "You're not on the lineup, bro." And I'd be like, "I've just driven from Edinburgh. Can I get on?" And like, "I'll give you 5 minutes." I'd be, "You motherfucker." One of the ones, in your head, my head, I thought the Thursday night at the Stand is like just an extension of the Friday, Saturday. So I thought it's going to be a big night. The Thursday night was the local act night, filled with just like local Aberdeen nut jobs. Everyone was shit. I was shit as well, to be fair. So went up, got 5 minutes, bombed, drove back down the road, got caught by a speed camera. Again, more crime. This is
fucking mafia.
To be fair, this is actually my biggest crime. Got caught doing. I thought I was doing 70 in a 70 miles per hour
That's
zone.
happened to me before, yeah.
I was doing 70 in a 50. Got 4 points on my driver's license, a £350 fine, and like was getting summoned to court and everything like that for this off the back of a 5-minute bombing in Aberdeen, a 6-hour round trip.
Yeah.
For nothing that cost me like 350 quid.
Wow.
And so I do not have good memories of this gig in Aberdeen.
No, it used to be really good because the venue our Aberdeen place is where his used to be. It used to be brilliant. And opened his own club and that was good as well, but it's went a bit downhill. But a couple of days I went up thinking I'm opening. I'm like, I know I've my dinner because I'm opening. I'll be in the car by 9. I'll stop at 4 McDonald's. Got a plan. He's like, oh no, you're a compere tonight. It's like, I don't want to be compere.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Yeah.
It was not very well organised.
No, he's just constantly stoned. So he forgets she's
Crime.
even booked. Which literally, crime, another crime. We won't name him, but I mean, it won't be hard to find him. So literally that
There's
happened.
not many breakneck comedies in Aberdeen.
But he,
It's not subways.
the amount of times I would just get to the front door, and like after the 4th time, I was just like, come on, man. So then I didn't know this. So one of my first ever things I've ever done was the Aberdeen Comedy Festival in 2016.
Okay.
And he was writing bios for people. He, which now Coben will pull up on the big screen. So I didn't know anything about this. He basically went onto my Facebook, took my profile picture.
I remember that picture.
Took my profile picture
What's going on in the picture?
off my Facebook. This is me at a festival, absolutely smashed out my fucking face.
Yeah.
That's red glitter all over my face. You can't see that. That looks like I've just got a rash. That's red glitter all
right,
over my
okay.
forehead, and I've got a headscarf on. I look like the Queen Mother.
You do.
And this guy just took that off my Facebook, and this was in like the Aberdeen Comedy Festival brochure.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
It was all over the website. This was on places, and then find the bio where it says about me.
Funny man from Dundee.
Funny man from Dundee. Ralph Brown is a new comedian from Dundee. He's been smashing it so far.
That like passage of text gets more dishonest as you go along.
Yeah.
He's a new comedian from
Funny
Dundee.
man, not true.
Yeah. New
I
comedian.
must see, not true.
Smashing it so far. Not true.
And this is the one. So then we had. This is what your one. So this is it. And I read this earlier, and I was just like, look at this. So it says Scottish comedian Ross Leslie began comedy in 2012, first becoming city of his birth, Edinburgh. Now living in Fife with his large family. Fat kids. That's exactly what it sounded like. It doesn't make it sound like you've got loads of kids. They're just all obese. And then as a former estate agent, food bank volunteer, and a member of a political party, is a wide range of
a political party? I was a member of the SNP for a while. But
Yeah.
Why is he put that up there?
Yeah. And I just thought, this guy is an absolute renegade, just not giving a fuck about what anyone is actually wanting to do. And then just wrote just loads of shit about you. I have said on this pod, writing a bio is the worst thing about being a comedian. When you're having to write in the third person, like, Ralph is at engagement. But the fact that he just went and wrote bios for us
Yeah.
is insane.
Aye, because I sometimes get third person, whatever. I'll start saying Ross Leslie, blah blah blah, and then put I have done this. I'm like, fucking sure it's like split personality.
Yeah. You feel like an absolute prick.
Speaking of bad gig stories, one I did for him in the Blue Lamp when he ran the Blue Lamp was Gus was on as well. Actually, I was opening, Gus was compere, and there was 3 people in the front row who were totally steaming. It was like older guy and 2 younger ladies from memory. Can't remember how they were connected, but they were just talking all the way through me. Through my set, and Gus had to deal with him beforehand, and then I was dealing with him well enough at the time. It was 2016 or something, so as well as I could have done at the time.
Yeah.
And I just lost my cool and went to the guy, mate, just shut the fuck up. And he just like totally took offence. That kind of broke character a wee bit.
Yeah.
And he stood up, started shouting at me and pointing at me, oh, shut the fuck up, blah blah blah. And it got so it had people were booing him. I just put the mic back in the stand. I went, not dealing with this, and just walked away, and everybody was booing him. And at the same time, his staff had come to to grab the 3 of them and take them out, and they got kicked out. And I only had about 5 minutes of my set left, and Gus is like, I'll put you back on because you get a big round of applause here for dealing with that. So Gus went on like, they're all away now, Ross is going to go do his last bit, bring him back on, give it up for Ross. The whole place went, yes. And I went on, I did what at the time was my porn routine, if you remember that, where I spoke about how don't watch porn.
You don't watch porn, yeah?
Yeah, and I've got the list of 10 things, and it's always you should bring it back. Actually, it was a good bit. And it finished off great. And in that 5 minutes that I'd been on stage, outside it was chaos because of these 3 people. They were just fighting random people that were walking past.
Brilliant.
The woman in particular, she was just like leathering old men when they walked past and stuff like that. So in that 5 minute period, in the part of the break time I got outside, the police van was there arresting all 3 of them. And I've got a great selfie of me I put on social media with the police in the background, me with a big smug, this is what happens when you heckle Big Lesbo or something.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
I can remember that.
And it was in the paper and everything. And that woman claimed police brutality.
Police brutality.
Because somebody had found her
Settle
Facebook
down,
page.
Rodney King. Fuck me.
Is it because I'm white? No, it's because you're absolutely
Because you're an arsehole.
Aye, because she put on, somebody found her personal Facebook within the comedy community. It's like, that's that girl that was fighting people outside your thing.
Brilliant.
Like, she had bruises on her, but it was her mainly. Maybe the guy didn't get arrested. I think it might have just been 2 women. It was a young woman, quite an attractive lady from all accounts. It didn't seem like the type, but she was fucking mental.
I mean, Aberdeen,
started
mate.
hooking, like, there's a guy, an older guy in his maybe 60s walking past with his grandson, started laying in there. We were watching from us, like, what the fuck?
Jesus
I just stayed out the way in case it like prompted. You're the guy. It's fucking him. Get him.
Yeah, Aberdeen's a wild place.
Yeah.
I did one of the times that they forgot to book me. Well, when I turned up, the MC Ray Thompson. I think I've maybe told you this story, but so I got the train up this time because train up, and I was like, there's only one train back. It was like 9:45 or something like that. I was like, I have to be back on that train, otherwise it's the last train back to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So
it's a shocking early train.
I say to the MC Ray Thompson, I went, man, like I need to get on like quickly, so because I'll literally have my time to do it, and then leg it to the train station. He went, don't worry about it, it's fine.
I've got you.
He gets onto the stage to introduce me. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a very special act coming up for you next. What I want you to do before he gets on the stage, I want everyone on your feet, and I want you to give this next man a 5-minute standing ovation before he even starts his set. And I'm at the back of the room like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to catch a train here, you idiot. And the whole room gets up, and there was someone filmed it. So the whole room's up, standing ovation for me coming onto the stage. They don't stop, they keep giving it thing. So as I get up onto the stage, he kind of like shakes my hand, whispers in my ear, good luck catching the train home. And I was like, oh, you fucking prick.
That's bad.
They keep clapping. I'm not joking. They keep clapping, and I'm just like, right, okay. I'm new to the whole thing, so I'm just like, okay. Now you could be like, shut the fuck up, sit down, you assholes. So literally, I had to cut my set short. I think I did like 5 minutes because I had to run off the stage. I went, thanks everyone, bye. So I ran to the train station and made it by like a split second. And I was like, what a fucking arsehole, man.
Yeah, that's a shitty move. That.
What else? You gig down south quite a lot, like Leeds and everywhere like that. Mad gigs down there.
Yeah, one time I got confused for Ray Bradshaw. We were both on the same lineup, and we were vaguely, or I don't shave my head anymore. Well, I haven't for a while. But we were vaguely similar looking, as we both bald with ginger beards.
Yeah.
And Scottish. And I opened the gig, and he closed the gig. Closed the same gig, sorry. And the comedy club got a complaint like the day after saying we got shortchanged because the guy who went on first came off stage, changed his clothes, and went back on to be the headliner. So that was funny.
As if you're gonna do that. As if anyone's gonna get away with that.
Yeah,
like, it's like when you just get turned away at a nightclub. You just go around the corner, like change your shirt with your
Draw a
mate.
wee moustache.
Hello, I'm like entering to a nightclub.
I try not to go down and go too much now because I can't be fucked.
Same. Well, I think the last time I was there was when me and you shared the hotel room in Manchester.
Oh god,
for the Frog and Bucket. Fuck man, that was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frog and Bucket World Series. I was on first, ate shit. I think I've talked about the podcast before. Got through the 5 minutes and then had to go back on stage at the end for the clap off, which was
pointless.
Which still to this day is one of the most humiliating moments of my
Give it up
life.
for Ralph. Oh,
Give it up for Ralph, the guy who was on stage 3 hours ago, who they didn't like.
but they didn't know enough about gonging at that point.
Yeah, they were still just like, oh well, you know, we'll give him a chance. And so I went back on stage. The Frog and Bucket was sold out, like 200 people in or something like that.
Yeah, maybe even more.
And so they go, right, first act, Ralph Brown, step forward for the clap off. I step forward, and in a room full of about 200 people, I just said like,
It's so bad.
like, I'm not
I
joking.
was sort of looking over you like,
3 claps if you were lucky in a room that was packed out. And I've never, like, I'm dead inside. I can deal with a lot, but that was tough to get through, of just like the humiliation of that.
and just knowing you couldn't go back to the room and cry because I'd be there. Right beside you.
Yeah,
With a
me and you.
sleep apnea mask on. Oh, we've got a stupid early train as well. It's like,
Yeah, so everything we did was to cut corners, and cut
because
costs.
you were working that day.
I was working the next again day, so had to be back at Edinburgh for like 9 o'clock. So we had like an alarm set for like 4:50 a.m. and I had to just like walk through the streets of Manchester. It was bleak as fuck.
Yeah.
It was raining.
It was proper rain,
Yeah, it was. That was not good. I think that's probably my least favourite gig.
yeah. What's your worst ever one?
Worst
I know
ever
you
one? Worst ever
Oh yeah,
one?
well, I'll ask you a question.
Oh yeah, fucking do what you want. Well, worst ever one was the Rotunda one we were talking about earlier.
That was pretty bad.
That was awful. That was 10 minutes of sheer silence to
Yeah.
again about 200 people.
That was
was-
bad, yeah.
It was.
Was that on?
You were on, but you were leaving. You had to go to another gig.
I am quite successful.
Yeah, you fucking do too much. I don't know how you do what you do. So yeah, you went on. I was on right after you and bombed solidly for 10 minutes to the point where Nelson had to go up and apologise.
Oh, I did, yeah.
He had to go on and go, we can't pretend that wasn't. He said something like, we can't pretend that was normal or something like that.
Yeah.
And had to basically say,
I've had my phone on me to show you the message you sent me at the time.
did he
Because
text?
I said something like, Ralph's normally great. This is a off night for him. And they went, the fuck is this? Or something. I said something like that. Like, was I'm like, I think I'd seen you before or something. It was
Yeah,
about
that was, this is it. I'd never gigged with Nelson before, Mark Nelson, so we'll say. And in my head, I was just like, oh my god, really like him. He's a brilliant comedian. So I just wanted to do well in front of him.
Yeah, you get like
And
that.
it could not have gone any worse. That and my first ever gig are the 2 worst gigs I've ever done. It doesn't get any worse than that. To like bomb in front of someone you really like respect.
Yeah, I remember that when I first started out as well. Like, oh god, I can't wait to gig with such and such because you hope it goes well. And generally, it doesn't go well because you get in your head.
Yeah. What about you? What's your worst one?
You've got a choice of 2. You have Kilmarnock or Aviemore.
Oh, come on, Nick.
Kilmarnock was a football club, like a junior football club or an amateur football club. It's their big night out or something like that. And I was probably opening, I think. And I used to have a routine about the new Queensferry crossing, the new bridge.
Yeah.
And there's a line in it about, like, the bridge is for us, not for Edinburgh. It gives us somewhere to jump off or something.
Yeah.
And then that got a very weird reaction. Nobody reacted in the room. And they didn't like me much before, but they especially hated me after that. And that's probably the first couple of routines I do. So it's a long 20 minutes or whatever it was.
Oh god.
And I came off after a proper death. And some woman from there says, that joke about the thing, one of the team members of the team killed himself a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, right, okay.
Jumping off the bridge?
I was like, did he jump off something? She went, yeah.
Oh my god!
I was like, alright, fair enough, that's fine. I don't think it was going well anyway, but yeah, that'll not help. But I didn't go, hey, everyone does that, it's a fucking idiot, but no.
Oh
Good
my
joke.
god.
Good joke.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Did anyone come up to you after the gig? Just her?
I just I left immediately. I wasn't hanging about to get more
Wow.
feedback from the big strong football players.
Wow.
It was just a nice wee lady. I don't know, she was like part of I don't know what her role was, but she came up. And I was like, right, that makes sense.
That is rough. What about Aviemore?
Aviemore, so I did a gig there in 2012. It went really well for the first year of comedy. Like a few people we know, with Neil and Waugh and all that were up there. Then I did a gig in 2019 maybe there, in a different place in Aviemore. And I was comparing, it was not going well at all. They didn't want any chat. It's like proper like backwoods kind of like I'd speak to a couple of guys in front row. How do you know? Oh, we're boyfriends. I was like, no, that kind of shit
Yeah.
chat again. I was just like, there they were awful audience, but I wasn't doing very well. And then I was getting ready to bring on the headline act, who's Vladimir McTavish, and I says, guys, we'll be pleased that this is your last time you'll see me, apart from at the very end when I wrap up. And says, I don't understand, last time I was here in Aviemore in 2012, the gig went great. The guy from the back shouted, I was there, what's happened to you, mate? It's like, oh no. So you were really good that night. I was like, yeah, that's not helpful. So in this guy's head, I'd been doing comedy for 7 years and got progressively worse.
Are you doing like Glasgow Comedy Festival?
Yeah, I have sold. How many tickets you sold, Coben?
Per show or across all of them?
Yeah, because Coben's an idiot.
Yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah, Coben, despite me telling him not to, booked in several shows.
Well, you told us after we'd already booked them.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and we went,
Just
what's the
consult
harm?
me about every life decision before you make that
Yeah,
decision.
yeah. Anyways, we have 4 shows. We've sold 5 tickets.
Well, I have actually,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yep, not great.
I've sold no tickets at all.
Excellent.
Yeah. This time last year I'd sold 20 or something, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm getting worse. To be honest, I haven't really promoted it much. It's a work
Everyone
in pro-
books close at the time for the Glasgow Comedy Festival.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I'm just making you feel better. No one's going to come.
It's a work in progress. I'll be reading from my notebook. So it's
Yeah,
gonna- it's gonna be
fair enough.
pretty
I'll put all
shit.
the links for all the tickets in the bio.
It's called Acknowledge Me.
Acknowledge me. And we have today. Me and Coben
Yep.
have acknowledged you.
Thank you for your acknowledgement.
Thank you very much for coming in, Ross Leslie.
I will.
It's been a
I will.
pleasure.
What did I say? I will for.
I will.
I will. Thanks for coming in. I will.
What a weird sign off.
I mean, I don't know what question I thought you said.
Yeah,
I will.
I will. Yeah, cheers for coming in, man. This will be fun. Thanks very much.
I will.
I will. Wave to the camera. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Ross.
Ralphie. Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye. I will.
I will.